All right, with the NFL draft behind us, let's talk about rookie drafts. And look, everybody has talked about who you take in the first, who you take in the early second. I think that's become well known. That's easy. Let's talk about the third round, because this is where you can find diamonds in the rough. You can kind of maneuver your drafts and really build out your team to become a juggernaut. Because if you hit on these late picks, that's where your team's fortunes generally tend to shift. Maybe you find a Puka, or maybe you find a Tyreek Hill from back in the day. Like, there are guys in this range that can be valuable. Most will not be, and I think that's important to say. Most of these third-round picks will not matter, so you need to be smart about the guys you're taking. So with that said, let's talk about 4 players I'm targeting in the third round of my rookie drafts right now. And I want to start that at the wide receiver position. Jaylin Noel at pick 79 for the Texans in the NFL draft, I think, is one of the more interesting landing spots for a wide receiver. And look, he is going to be an early third, maybe even late second, so I might be cheating even a little bit on my first pick here. But he's a player I want to try to leave most drafts with. If you're not familiar, in reception perception, he was just, dominant for a player that is kind of deemed a slot wide receiver that maybe has a little more skill to him than people are giving him credit for. 84th percentile versus man is phenomenal. 64th percentile versus zone, but he clears the 80% success rate that you're looking for a slot wide receiver. So he has the skill set and the talent, and the nice piece is he also has the athleticism, because that is a large part of being a wide receiver. 9.75 RAS, relative athletic score. So his play style marries up well with his athleticism, what you want to see from a guy that you're taking a flyer on in the third. He has the traits of a potentially successful player. Now, the situation is a little bit murky because, yes, there is Nico Collins. And after him, considering that Stephon Diggs is gone, Tank Dell is out for the season, it's a little bit muddy as to who that wide receiver 2 is. They traded for Christian Kirk this offseason, but they didn't give up a ton for him. He's coming off of a down season. They draft his teammate, Jaylin Noel's teammate, Jaden Higgins, ahead of him in the second round. And then they take him in the third. So there's 3 guys that are kind of fighting for this wide receiver 2 spot, and I don't think he's going to get the first crack at it, but I think by the end of the season, there's a real chance he is the second most valuable pass catcher on this team. And long term, you don't know what Tank Dell's going to be. He's just a very interesting flyer this late in drafts that I am looking to grab or even trade up for in that range if I can. Going over to the running back position, Jaydon Blue, pick 149 to the Cowboys. And this is obvious as to why he's here. The Cowboys, I think, have probably the most open competition at running back right now because, look, you have Javonte Williams, who they signed from Denver. Javonte Williams was terrible. You have Miles Sanders, who gets signed from Carolina after getting cut because he just wasn't good, right? Got beat out by Hubbard. They drafted Brooks. They signed Rico Dowdle. They don't have any need for Miles Sanders. He's bad. And then you have Deuce Vaughn, who is small and fun, but he's tiny, so it's very difficult to trust him with a big workload. Enter Jaydon Blue, 6 feet, 200 pounds, just like a bursty, athletic satellite back. Is probably the best way to describe him. I don't consider him like a feature back. I don't think he's a 20-touch type of player. However, if there's a running back that got taken on day 3 that has a good chance to earn meaningful work very quickly, he is one of them. Because again, this all just goes to opportunity. When I'm drafting running backs, especially in the third round of my rookie drafts, I'm not, like the guys that are expected to start and be starters are taken in round 1 and 2, almost always. In round 3 of your NFL drafts, you're trying to see who has a path of least resistance to earn a role, whether it's spot starts or, by the end of the season, be a Tyrone Tracy. Jaydon Blue's that guy for me. He is a very, very obvious one, but he needs to be mentioned and needs to be on your radar if you're just looking for usable running back depth in the third round. Now, switching gears, going to the tight end position, I look for different things at tight end than I do running back, obviously, in terms of opportunity. Terrance Ferguson, 46th pick to the Rams, obviously second round, I think is a very interesting long-term play in Dynasty. And if I'm drafting tight ends in the third, generally, it's with the future in mind. It's not, what are you going to do for me now? It's, what are you going to do for me next season and, the subsequent seasons after that. Because, look, he is a big athletic tight end, 9.57 RAS, relative athletic score, and he's behind Tyler Higbee, who has 1 year left on his contract and is just kind of meandering along at this point in his career. He's been injured, he's aged. Tyler Higbee is solid, but he does not have the receiving upside and the athleticism that Terrance Ferguson does. I think that's a piece this offense is missing. And when you can also add in that he's tied to Sean McVay, these creative, high-end offensive coordinators or head coaches, play callers, whatever you want to call them, that bodes well for him long-term, I think. On top of that, right, you obviously have Puka. He's the one, no questions. You have Davante Adams, who's 32 years old. So after that, the third spot in the pecking order here is up for grabs. And even a year from now, I think the second spot is a little bit up for grabs because, look, Davante Adams is not going to be this good forever at 32. The end is coming. And there will be new wide receivers that get ushered in. But Terrance Ferguson, I think, is going to stick and end up carrying a lot of value. He's one of those guys. He could be a Trey McBride in 2 to 3 years. Like, that level of upside is in his skill set and his landing spot. And then to close it out, probably the chalkiest of chalk picks at the quarterback position, Shedeur Sanders. And I know, I get it. It's so stupid. It's so stupid to say you should take a quarterback drafted in the 5th round of the NFL draft and use a pick on that. I understand it's dumb. I'm laughing just thinking about it because it's ridiculous that I'm saying this. But the other way to play the third, right? If you're not going to target a wide receiver that was taken on day 2, if you're not going to take a running back with a path to immediate playing time, if you're not going to draft the long-term athletic tight end, go quarterback. Like, go chase the highest upside you possibly can in this round. Because like I said at the top, most of the players taken in the third, including guys on this video, probably won't make it. There's a reason they are in the 3rd round of your rookie drafts. So why would you not just take the highest upside swing possible? And you could argue, take Dylan Gabriel here, and that's fine too. I think any quarterback in the 3rd ends up being worth it because, look, you hit on a quarterback, even if they're a mid-level QB2, that helps your team dramatically, not only from a trade value perspective, but a production, a depth perspective. You are just naturally in a better spot. It's the same thinking in the NFL, right? You want to take the positions that you have to pay a lot. You want to take your wide receivers, your corners, your quarterbacks, etc. Because if you hit there, you are naturally ahead of everybody else because you didn't have to pay the same investment for premium production. Now, Shedeur Sanders probably doesn't give you premium production. He's not going to be a top 10 quarterback, most likely. But he's very accurate. He obviously has skills, or a skill set and tools that make him interesting. So I get if you don't want to do anything with Shedeur Sanders, you don't want to touch him just like the NFL didn't want to do it. That's fine. I think he's a worthwhile flyer in the 3rd in your Superflex leagues.